Welcome, everybody, to the Creature Cast, the official Console Creatures podcast. My name is David Petrangelo, and I am one of your hosts through this journey of all things video games. I am in the host seat once again, everybody. I feel so much better. It was a good week of recovery, good week of games. Lots to talk about this week. Post the state of play, we've gotten back to playing some more games. Steam Next Fest is going on. We got a new PlayStation drop. Lots of stuff happening. We're going to kick off this week by saying hello to editor extraordinaire, Bobby Pashalides. How are you, Bobby?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
You're back. Things are good. It has been an insane week, and I'm ready to see what the hell's going to happen for the rest of the week, because legitimately, we're only at the halfway point, and shit has hit
Right?
the fan from Sunday. So there's that. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy 2024, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing really well, actually.
Good.
I'm excited to talk about some games. Yeah, it's been a week so far, but you know what? Rest assured, there are games to be gaming. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for the good vibes, the foaming. I've been foaming at the mouth all week, so I'm excited to talk all about it.
All right, let's jump right in, because we do have a decent amount to talk about. Let's start with the foaming, Steve. Let's just get right in. Foamstars,
Yeah,
dropped on PlayStation this week, and it is free for now for Plus players, PS Plus subscribers. As far as I know, it's any tier of PS Plus. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it is.
that's correct.
Yeah, so that's great. That's good. So you have choice. If you're on the lower tier, no problem. It's still accessible to you.
Mhm.
This is sort of the Splatoon-ish, not clone, I wouldn't say that, but it's going for similar ideas, just on the Sony and PlayStation network by Square Enix. That's a very broad stroke of what it is. Steve, I think you've spent more time with it than I have, at least anyways, as far as I know. What was your thought kind of going into it, your excitement level, and how's it been going so far?
Sure. Yeah, I had zero excitement for the game. I
Okay.
actually felt like going into it, it was one of those death loop situations where I felt like every state of play, every showcase, every kind of PlayStation presence there was online, Foamstars was just kind of there in some capacity, and I felt like it was oversaturated. I felt like it was overexposed. I was like, okay, I get it. You guys are just Square. You're making a Splatoon-like game. That's fine. And then they tried to come out and say, no, it's a different game. It's not Splatoon at all. This is Splatoon. Like, I don't understand the spin here. Like, I don't get it, because it is, if we're gonna call a spade, it's a Splatoon like. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go out there and say we've created a new genre of games. It's a Splatoon like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think Square should be smart and kind of embrace that, because it gives people like a jumping off point in terms of like what they're gonna get out of this game. Foamstars. I was ready to. I almost said it exactly, because it's like Kleenex, right? You just call it the brand,
or for
that
the
you know
olds
of.
like me, it's like Xerox. You know, it's just
Or
Xerox.
yeah, or Pal World with Pokemon. I still call those stupid creatures. Anyways, getting back. Foamstars, I was ready to install, play for a couple hours, and then kind of drop off. Like it's just one of those games that, you know, is free, low commitment. You can jump in, jump out, kind of thing. I am pleasantly surprised at how well it plays. I think Square Enix has come out and provided a good baseline for a game that can be sustained and supported over time. Right now, I think that the content offering is pretty surface level. I think it's just bare bones enough that you can kind of get your feet wet, get in, kind of understand the mechanics of the game, kind of understand the game loop, have a lot of fun with up to 4 players. You know, most of the core modes in the game are 4v4. There's also some like very solely cooperative modes in there as well. But gameplay wise, this is Splatoon. Like it is get into an arena 4v4, like just talking about like their standard like kind of team deathmatch kind of mode. You jump into like this small circular arena. You're trailing your way with your own foam that you're shooting out of your guns. Then you can essentially that enables you to traverse faster by pulling out your surfboard. You can start going up. You can then use the foam to create like more of a verticality. But so if you focus in on the ground and kind of like expel a whole bunch of foam piles up into like a mountain, and you can kind of like get like a vantage point over your opposition there. There's what is it, eight individual characters, each with their own kind of weapon. So one is like some could be like a light machine gun. One is more like an
One's similar to like
AR. One's more of a shotgun.
I was gonna say, yeah, I just played that guy earlier.
Yeah. And then each character has their own individual like special abilities, and then an ultimate ability that replenishes over time. Like they're on a cooldown kind of thing. So essentially, that's the loop of the game. Is you jump in. Every player on each team can choose one of the 8 characters. You can't double up or anything like that. And then you're just using your own abilities and your own weapon sets to kind of gain an advantage over the team. Right now, there's 3 core modes. There's like a team deathmatch. There's the rubber ducky party, which I really enjoy. The rubber ducky party is essentially there's a mode in Overwatch. I can't remember the mode, but it's essentially there is a in Foamstars, there's a rubber duck in the middle of the map, and essentially you have to take control over it. Mm-hmm. And as you take control over it, it moves closer to the enemy's side of the map.
Yeah, and it's the standard Overwatch escort. The payload and stuff. That's kind of exactly what it is. Yeah, you have to stay within the ring and keep the enemies away from it, sort of thing. Yeah, that's the gist of it.
Thank you. Yeah,
but with a much quirkier, or at least in some ways quirkier personality to it or spin on it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's another one, which is basically take your 4v4, split them in half, and then 2 are on the floor of the arena and 2 are kind of elevated above. And essentially the 2 that are above are providing support for the other ones, like carving the path of foam so that the 2 on the bottom can kind of have an easier way of navigating, while the 2 on the bottom are essentially just trying to take out the opposing 2 that are in the arena. It's kind of just another quirky spin on a team deathmatch kind of thing. And then in the game as well, there is like a more cooperative focus one, which is a horde mode. I don't know if you've put any time into this, Dave. I personally really like it.
Is that online or the sort of single player thing? Because I did like 2 missions of like the single player thing briefly, and that was it.
So single player,
well, whatever. Yeah, I wasn't teamed up with anyone. Yeah, you can play it solo.
Okay. So then that's the mode. Yeah, you can play it solo, or you can get matched up with 3 other people. And essentially there's this horde mode where a whole bunch of sheep and targets and stuff like that will come through like a barrier and try to attack your quote unquote core. And essentially you're trying to protect that core, this energy core or whatever, for 10 rounds. There's like a media or like a normal mode, difficulty mode, and then hard difficulty mode. And in between each wave, you can unlock new skills. It's kind of like a roguelite in that way, where every single break you get up to 3 skills that you can choose from. So you can kind of build out your loadout, quote unquote,
a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can have like, easier or faster reload speed, faster health regeneration, stuff like that. So you can kind of, pick and choose exactly how you want to play. I really like it. I think that was a really inventive kind of spin on a game like this. Overall, I think, I'm having a lot of fun. I'd probably put in, 4 or 5 hours into the game. This is a game, though, and especially with the rubber duck party mode, that if your teammates are slacking, is impossible. That one, like, I have still not won a rubber duck party mode because there's always someone on the team that is just not playing the objective, not reviving down players and stuff like this. I'm like, guys, we It's not that complicated of a game. There's one objective. This isn't a game for kills, or as they call it, chills. They are very adamant about you not calling them kills. They're chills. All right.
Yeah, that's the other thing about the game is one. Well, it's funny, we say that this is basically similar or a Splatoon like. That problem that you're talking about with the payload type stuff or with the rubber ducky thing, that is also an Overwatch problem for sure. If you have just one person not really playing as a team, it really does hinder your chances significantly. You may win the odd time, but if you're just going for the kill kind of idea, it's not going to work out for your team, even if you're having a good time taking people out, and odds are you're just going to get destroyed going solo or going headfirst anyway. Yeah, this game has lots of style. I'll give it that for sure. Like, it's definitely unique. The characters are cool and unique. They're fun. The game's just trying to have a goofy time, which I totally appreciate. And yeah, there's no kill. It's a chill. Good chill. 2 chills. So essentially, you wrap up an enemy in a bunch of your colored foam, which is essentially like their health bar goes, depletes. And then you hold on to L2 and you slide into them and basically kick them off the level, which is a chill or essentially a kill. There's respawns, or at least in some of them, most of the modes and stuff anyway. It's totally fine. It's just, they're just really trying hard not to just, I don't know if it's them just not wanting to use that terminology so that they don't encourage like, toxic behavior and stuff. And if that's what they're going for, at least it's something, but at the end of the day, if it's competitive, people are going to be overly competitive and take things too seriously sometimes. So I don't know that you can fully avoid that, but I appreciate the effort.
They definitely try their best, especially in that intro. They give like a whole spiel of like, section. Oh yeah, this is chills. Kills are for other games. This is a place where you can relax, have fun with your friends. Like, I really enjoy the gameplay. I enjoy the style.
Yeah,
everything to do with the voiceovers, the announcers, just awful stuff. Like I cannot stand the characters when you're in the character select screen and they're just talking shit. Like they are just saying the most obnoxious stuff.
The voiceovers for it, yeah.
Yeah.
The like thing that got me was,
I don't understand. Part of me, yeah.
No, the thing that got me the most when it comes to like the sort of personalities or the quote unquote story, the world that they're trying to set up. Like they're trying to set up a little bit of a world here. So when you play that sort of solo or co-op thing, like PvE type of mode, whatever that's called that you mentioned. I played only a couple of it and really briefly. I don't know what the characters' names are yet, but she's dressed in yellow and she kind of has like a plague doctor mask on a little bit and like a long braid or whatever.
Yep.
Her master that like taught her who she is or something is a walrus or something, and it's an actual picture of a walrus that's talking to her, and then when it like yells at her or exclaims, it's like the walrus has its mouth open and it has the text, and it's all voiced over. It is so freaking weird. I do not understand what they're doing or what is going on. I'm like, can I just do it without this? Like, I get it. You're trying to have fun. It's over the top, and that's a choice. Have the voiceover, but like, what does this have? What? Like, what am I doing right now? Like, what is this? So weird. But
I don't know.
But the gameplay, I've only played 4 matches, maybe 5. And I played one of the 4v4 where 2 people are on top, 2 people are on the bottom. That's one where the teamwork thing also really matters, because I played and got wiped out both rounds in like 30 seconds. It's really fast. So I was like, okay, well, I tried that. I'll go back to the other one. The sort of like base mode, the number one sort of the like main team deathmatch type thing, has a little bit of a spin to it. Whoever sort of has the most points is like the star leader or something like that, and they end up being like the target and everyone else has to protect them. I kind of like that. I think that's kind of fun. And
it's very cool, very inventive. For sure.
Yeah, cool. And it doesn't change. It's like whoever has the most score, whoever has like the highest score on your team after a certain point is the person that needs to be protected. And then everyone else.
So it's essentially
yeah.
Is each team has like 7 deaths or
That's what it is.
allotted to them
Yes,
that they
that's
can
what it is.
that you can sustain, and
Yeah.
then once they're out of those seven chills, if you will, whoever on that team has amassed the most chills for the other team becomes the star player or whatever, and then to your point, they're the ones that have to be protected for the remainder of the game. Same thing, like your objective then is to go to the other team and chill their star player.
Yeah, and that star
chill you.
Yeah. chill before being chilled. Yeah, that star player only has 1 life. Everyone else can respawn. I think it's kind of fun, and I do think that the controls are simple enough. I think it controls well. It feels smooth. Everything ran great for me when I was playing it. All of that stuff felt great. I was surprised. I thought maybe it'd be a little bit chuggy, or I played in the middle of the afternoon. Like, it wasn't really like a heavy period of play, I would say. Like, I'm sure there wasn't like a ton of people on it at 2 p.m. But it was good. I thought it was pretty fun. I'll go in and I'll play every once in a while. But I'm pleasantly surprised. How about that?
The other thing I want to point out that we're talking about the style of this game. I love the color palette of it. I love the teal and the pink. That I love that shit. The ray tracing in some aspects of this game, beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the environments are just like, foreground stuff that you're not interacting with. All of the arenas are pretty small and everything. It's all just, set dressing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it's a beautiful game to look at. Your main hub area that you kind of drop into when you load the game up and everything. Just looking at the way that things reflect off the tiles there and everything. I was like, this game just looks
very
beautiful,
detailed,
and it really doesn't have to.
No, that whole hub area doesn't even need to exist. It could just be a menu.
Yeah, but I'm really happy that it does.
Yeah.
It adds a little thing. Another anecdotal thing I think that I wanted to bring up because I thought it was super funny is that I was playing last night, and at first I was having a little bit of difficult matchmaking and everything. It just was kind of maybe the connection on their server side or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, it didn't take more than about an hour, and I'm not even saying this because it's the show or anything. I got matched up with someone that is not fond of me or Bobby at all.
Really?
We personally know this person. I saw their tag, and I was like, there is no fucking way this is happening right now. But you know what? We clutched the win because I'm a team player. At the end of the day, team player over here. I'm still going for the W. Still going to provide my service. Even though you might not be the biggest fan of me, I'm still out there. Just wanted to put that out.
Yeah, that's whatever. I mean, what can you do?
Hey, you got the W.
We're all just trying to get the bread.
That's it.
Well, I'm glad you were able to get the W for our team. I mean, sorry, for that individual's team.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was me for sure. It was me. Yeah. Yeah. Bobby, are you? I mean, I know there's lots to play. There's stuff you've been playing that we'll talk about in a sec. But is this going to be on the list at any point before Final Fantasy comes around, or is it? Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I'm gonna, as soon as we're done recording, I'm gonna go play a couple rounds because I promised Twitter yesterday. I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna play it. I have to." And I think it's about time that there's a game like that on something that's not Nintendo, right? So I mean, yeah, no, it looks great.
That's a good point.
I'm just more concerned with the longevity. Like, how long is this game gonna last? Because Square Enix is very notorious for just end of life in games prematurely. So
right.
That's kind of my only concern. But I mean, from the looks of it seems like everyone's having fun.
Yep.
There's not much negativity I'm hearing outside of the gameplay. Like, everything seems good with that. I'm just kind of concerned about the microtransactions and how that's going to influence the gameplay, if that's going to, directly affect everything. So, but yeah, other than that, definitely looking forward to it.
As far as microtransactions right now, it's just there's a battle pass with a very odd number of tiers.
Though.
it caps off at 41. I've never seen a battle pass or a season pass like cap off at 41. Why? Like it just seemed like they ran out of ideas and they're like, all right, we're done.
Let's stop it
Which
there.
is fine. But,
and
yeah,
then
no,
and then the only other thing you can buy from the store are just costumes. So
Yeah, some of them. Oh my god, I went through it
no
really
like pay
quickly.
to win.
Ooh, they're so expensive. Oh my god.
yeah,
There's
that's what I'm
really-
saying. Like they're pricey. and
There's
it's
a
just like,
bundle. There's bundles for some of the characters. I don't know if it's every character, but some of the characters. I think it's 60 or 70 bucks Canadian for like 7
that's
costumes or
insane.
8 costumes. That's nuts. Yeah.
What-
That is
what can you do?
outside
Right? I
of
mean,
the.
really, if you don't want to
Yeah.
buy it, you're not going to buy it. So
No chance. I was
I'm
like,
just
is
there,
that the
yeah.
price? Is that
No.
like unlocking an ultimate version or something like that? And I clicked on it and it said bundle and whatever number it had beside. It was under 10 items. I can't remember exactly what it was.
yeah, that's insane. Like it just doesn't feel like that doesn't sit right with me. But like whatever, I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm just gonna play
Yeah.
the game. I have no interest in that stuff. It's just I know that people who like to play like Splatoon and stuff like that game is really good with just giving you stuff to equip your characters, and then
Yeah.
this game comes along and it's just like, well, you gotta buy everything. So
I don't know.
that-
Yeah, I think I think like a lot of these games, there's definitely a lot you're going to have to buy if you want it. But I've already unlocked a couple of small items. It's nothing major, but there's a couple of things that have trickled in, and I have played for an hour and a half. You know, and that's fine. You know, so we'll see. There's probably a wall that you hit at some point, Steve. You might have even already hit it already, where you really don't get too much until you're like way higher levels. But that's not out of the ordinary either. It's just are they going to provide you enough is really what it is.
yeah, that's exactly it. So,
Sure.
That's all. And
Let's
is it
see.
interesting? Or is it like for me, the finals, which is like none of this stuff is interesting to me, despite the gameplay being fun. That's my
I'm kind of there with Foamstars where you're talking about like the little things that they just throw at you, the little icons and stickers and stuff like. I'm like I don't care.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, and that's no fault to the studio. Like I'm just not invested in unlocking that kind of stuff. I'm here for the gameplay. I think the gameplay is really well thought out and it
It's
works
good.
very
It's
well.
good. Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed, like to your point, I'm a little disappointed in the way that level progression is at this current moment. Again, I've played probably 4 to 5 hours, with the exception of the rubber duck parties. I've probably tried to play like 4 matches of those. I've been like winning quite a lot, and that's not just me trying to like ego boost or anything like that, but like I've been performing really well. My teams have and everything. I'm just like still level 5.
Oh.
And I feel like
okay.
that's a very slow progress for
Yeah.
a game like this. Like I feel like usually, there's a curve to it where you get like the first 10 levels like right off the hop, and
Mhm.
then it kind of like curves downward and stuff like that. So I don't really know. I know that one of the trophies in the game is like reach level 25. I was like, at this rate, not a chance in hell I'm doing that.
At least not
just
soon. Yeah.
they could always adjust it. They could always adjust
Exactly. Yeah.
Which could
Also, Square, where's the platinum? Where's the platinum? What are we doing here? Why are we not
There's
supporting
all the
platinums in this game?
I'm noticing that a lot of games
Yeah.
are not including platinums this year. And I'm like, that's strange.
yeah, that could be stuff that gets added to it, and the whole like they could add things or they could
Well, like-
adjust how the leveling is. That could also be the battle pass. They could be doing this thing where it's 41 levels, and then in a couple weeks or in a month, they're like, "Hey, we added 9 levels. Now it goes to 50, but for the same price."
That's fair.
I don't
very
know if
fair,
they're
yeah.
allowed to do that. I'm not allowed. I don't know if they want to do something like that, but I mean, that's sort of like a cool little bonus if people bought the battle pass or bought the season pass, whatever they're calling it, and then hey, you get an extra 9 levels that are not super hard, but keeps you playing and also gives you something. You never know. Could happen. I think that's not a terrible idea. You wouldn't feel like you're being ripped off. You actually feel like you're probably getting more, which is great. So maybe that's what they should do. I should just call them. I should just call them and just tell them that this is what you should be
Fly
doing.
to Japan and tell them.
It's okay. I got long distance. I'll call them. That's fine. I'll ring them.
You
up.
have Zoom. They have Zoom.
Yeah, right. They're on Discord, aren't they? Probably. Everyone has a Discord, so they must be on there. Bobby, let's talk about. I have a couple of quick hits of Steam Next Fest games, but I'll get to that in just a bit. Bobby, I want to ask what you've been up to. What you've been playing, man?
I've been playing the game of life recently. That
You
includes
winning?
bed by 10 o'clock and trying not to overstep my boundaries of being an adult.
Well, that's
But
exciting. That's
yeah,
exciting.
no, I've been focusing on Persona 3 Reload, and just it's been a really great revisit to the, I guess, the game that changed the series forever. So I mean, it's free on Game Pass right now. I mean, if you haven't played it, it's there. Check it out. But it's a great first introduction to the series. I mean, if you like JRPGs, it's difficult, but you can fine tune the difficulty, of course. So, but it feels good to go back to that world. Like you're basically, going through your high school. You're doing like a social dating sim. You're tackling a dungeon. You're leveling up. You're making friends. Like it's got a bit of everything. But I'm at like 100 and some odd hours. I'm trying to get the platinum, and it's been like cumbersome towards the end because like as great as the story is, there are like bouts of just time where you're not doing anything. Like in real life, like you have nights where you just have nothing to do. So like you're kind of just killing the clock, and it's just like thankfully the newer games kind of implemented systems where you have something to do at night, so you can meet up with a friend and go for a coffee, or you can go and play a game at the arcade or something. But like in this game here, there's literally I've gone a month where I haven't seen anybody in past like 10 o'clock at night. No one wants to hang out. It's just like I'm running the clock down to get to basically build up the Persona compendium, which is basically part of what you need to get the platinum. And there are like dozens of these personas you have to find, unlock, and you have to buy them, and it's just like a whole thing. It's basically like a mini game within Persona, and it's a struggle because there are legitimately a lot of these where you need to get the right combinations. Some of them need to have certain skills when you fuse them, and it's just there's a lot of just like guesswork and cross-checking references online. And it's trying to but overall, like it's a great game. I mean, the battle system's incredible. I mean, it's a very stylish series. I know. I don't know if you guys have ever played them, Steve. I know you were asking about it, but it's a very flashy, very stylish, very hip game, and
Very
definitely
hip. Ooh,
it's
Steve's
hip.
hip.
It's hip. Like Steve is hip, but the music is incredible. Like honestly, I still
Oh,
think
you. Oh.
yeah,
Ah,
he is hip.
guys.
But it's a strong entry for the series. It's definitely my favorite. I think it's got the best cast, the best music, the best story. It deals with some heavy themes. So I mean, there's like themes of suicide. There's a lot of blood and gore, and it's very interesting going back to this game and then seeing where it's come in 15 years since the first game that reinvigorated the series has come. And overall, it's a great experience. Cast is incredible. I love the refresh graphics. I love the refreshed mechanics. Like it feels like a brand new game. And that's kind of where it kind of leads me to is I want the new game now. Like it's been
Yeah.
6 years since the last mainline entry kind of launched on PlayStation, and that's just like, well, I want to know what they're doing because I feel like the series has stagnated a bit just because everything kind of feels the same. I think that experiencing this game now as it is kind of tells me that Atlas has done everything they can with the current iteration of Persona. So like, I want to see what they're going to do next with it. But overall, like I really, really, really love this series. I love this game in particular. I highly recommend it. It's just such a fun game up until like the last 5 to 10 hours or so. And then it picks up to the end. Like,
Yeah,
as
the
soon as you
grind
get
that
to,
you're doing now is obviously, but that's for something different, right? That's not the main story. That's for that platinum that you're saying you're going for, right?
yep,
So
exactly,
that's
it is.
different.
But at the same time, like you need to be fusing personas and upgrading them and keeping them up to speed with like where you are and your level wise, because if you're not, you're kind of missing out on a lot of the mechanics. Like there are inherent skills that your character picks up that he learns from fusing personas. So like you can fuse like one called Lucifer. You can actually build these personas through your friendship. So as like say you and I have like our friendship, the more I hang out with you and like we go and do stuff, at the end you'll give me like an item that lets me fuse like something, like I said, like Lucifer, or you can fuse Loki, you can fuse like I think there's one called the Messiah, and that's kind of like one of the big ones that you have to fuse in it. And that's where the time sink is. Like it's getting these ultimate personas that like
Right.
offer like the best of the game and like kind of like showcase like the best of like your abilities and everything. So like that's where the kind of time sink is for me. But it's incredible. Like honestly, I'm just so happy that people are experiencing this game because it was obviously like there was the Persona 3 Portable that was kind of like a visual novel remake of the game. It never really sat right with me that was kind of what everyone experienced because it was good. It just didn't have the core mechanics that I liked about it. So now, yeah, in a brand new light, it just feels good to see this game get this new platform. People seem to be loving it. I mean, the new voice actors kind of fit their roles perfectly. Everything kind of has come together to this point. It's just great to see, Persona thrive, I guess, because like it just it's a great series. It is overall like a great series. I do put it on that same level as Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. Like it is that kind of like RPG for me.
That's yeah, me and Steve are in the dark with this series. I also haven't played it. I came so close. Maybe it was on Game Pass, but I think it was even before that. Of playing, is it 4 Golden? Is that what it is? Persona 4 Golden. Like that one.
So actually, just to chime in.
Yeah.
So actually, Alice just announced that they just sold 1 million copies in the first week, and that's the fastest selling game in Alice's history. So I mean, that tells you something, right?
Really, in their
it is
history,
obviously
crazy.
Yeah, it resonates with a lot of people. So like that is great. But
Yeah.
no, going back to what you're saying, Persona 4 Golden is also a great game. Like
That's just the one that I kept hearing was like, oh, this one, it's you got to play it. It's if you're gonna play one, play, and even 5. I think a lot of people were saying about 5 when it came out, and I came close. I just for whatever
everyone
reason
says that about their favorite one,
right,
which is
sure.
what it is. But
Same with Final Fantasy. It's all kind of like in a similar.
it's exactly what it is.
thing.
That's the beauty of RPGs. Like you can pick anyone, and it's someone's favorite. But Persona, like objectively, I feel like Persona 3 has the best story, the best cast, just because there are actual stakes to the story. I mean, if you play it to completion, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. There is some very heavy implications of what happens at the ending, and like there is an epilogue that launched a couple years later that a lot of people are upset didn't launch with this game, but for good reason. It kind of felt like a fan fiction, but there are things that I did like about that epilogue called The Answer, which kind of puts a bow on a lot of things, but it leaves the door open because, like I said, there are a lot of adult themes to it, and it kind of takes that and turns it into a kind of like a supernatural take. So I mean, like take with that what you will, but it's just a great. That's probably the great first entry is Persona 3. You can obviously just dial because there is like obviously normal, easy, hard mode. You can put it on peaceful, which is like obviously like the story mode. Blast through that and experience it. That's probably the way I recommend playing it because this game is obviously so long. You'll probably enjoy it and understand why it's probably the why
because you get the story beats more
series.
clearly. Yeah.
But it like I said, it's totally up to like the user. If you want to play it, it's up to you. But like Dave, if you're looking to play one, this is probably the one I would say to start with.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I tell you that I'm intrigued because there's just so much, like you're saying, like you've been saying, there's just so much goodwill with this game. So much being written and said about how great it is. It's hard. You can't ignore it. Even if a JRPG is not my thing, I gave 7 a bigger try last year and said like all of that. Like I'm willing to do it if it is really just one of those games. So I won't get to it within the next like week or two, but I continue to have Game Pass, as we've discussed before. It's a good way to sort of give it a shot, at least.
That's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
But no, honestly, it's more just it. Like I said, it's really hard to spoil why I love this game so much because it ties into a lot of what you're doing in this game, and like obviously, you have this. First off, like the whole thing is like you're blowing out your mental brain to summon your persona. Like that in itself, you don't see that in games anymore, especially today. Like 15 years ago, putting a gun to your head was okay in a game. Like now it's kind of like, well, now there's all these warnings. You're not supposed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind
You're
of tells
not
you
supposed to do that.
you're not supposed to do that unless
Oh,
it's a game.
okay. My bad.
I mean, you could,
Shit.
but
Damn.
it's a 50-50 chance.
Oh.
Damn.
But and then you have like it kind of ties into like the Arcana and like the Tarets and like I love that kind of stuff where it's like the Hierophants and like the Death Tarot, and you have like Justice, and you have all these different ones that kind of have a purpose, and Alice does a great job of implicating all of them into the story and then having a reason why they're there, and it does something great. Like I love that I love like kind of like the mystical side of things. So like obviously like supernatural, tarot, stuff like that. It's there, and it just does a great job of elevating that notion into something really cool. And
Right.
the ending itself has always stuck with me. Like it was a really strong ending compared to Persona 4 and 5 and the multitude of spin-offs those games got. Like those are good games, but nothing comes close to P3 just because of how far like Alice was willing to go with their endings.
It's it's on the long list.
I'm right there with you, Dave. I have it installed, but it's coming out.
You're
like,
further than me then.
yeah, no, because I took the advice of Twitter. I put out the tweet.
Yeah,
I was like, listen,
yeah.
I actually want to put in the effort. I want to play a Persona game.
Mhm.
I'm willing to do it. Is Persona 3 Reload the game to kind of jump into? Everyone, for the most part, kind of agreed yes. So I was like, oh,
Cool.
okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna install it. But then, of course, February is just the worst month to get into to a 100-hour game. Where,
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it didn't speak to me, but I tried out Suicide Squad, and now going into Foamstars, but then Helldivers, and then there's a bunch of games on the horizon in February that I'm like, these games are Steve-ass games that I gotta play and gotta try out. Persona will be a game that I get into hopefully soon. Hopefully, like when there's a window for me, because God knows, 100-hour windows don't come all that regularly.
Yeah.
No.
It just can't, right? Like I think I can't remember if I mentioned it on the show or not, but I picked up the Mad Max game on PlayStation for $6 like about a month ago now. I put a decent amount of time in. I think I put like 30 or 40 hours into it. Like I played a lot of it, right? And I was doing a lot of small stuff along the way because that game is a lot of fun. I could put more into it, but now, like you just said, Steve, there's just all this other stuff happening. And sadly, I don't know if I'm ever going to like go back to it in the same way or finish it even, because I mean, I got a kick out of that game. I think it's great. I think people should really check it out if they haven't, but like I want to finish it because I've put so much, I've invested so much in it, but what's that window? And when I have that window, will I instead play Persona or something else that's been on the backlog instead?
You know what? I commend you for doing more in Mad Max than probably 95% of the people on this planet have. That game got so criminally overlooked because it launched on the same day or the same week as Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a little bit to go back to it too, because I was like, oh, okay. Obviously, I'm playing Metal Gear, but then I got back to Mad Max like a month or so later. I was like, oh, this game rips. This game is awesome. It's like, but then of course by that time it's an old game and no one remembered it even came out. But
it's so crazy.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun. There's so much crazy shit you can do in it. And what I didn't realize is, I'm gonna look it up as I say this, but I'm pretty sure Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, the game came out the same year as Fury Road did.
Yeah.
And it is not the same character. It is not really the same, like, quote unquote timeline. It's just another Mad Max story. I don't really know how the broad universe of Mad Max works. I have no idea if it's actually linked or not. Doesn't really matter. But there's so many things that are shared of world, about like world building and all these types of things that just make this, actually enhances the experience of this game, knowing that Fury Road is as fucking good as it really is. This game is great. This is one of the very few busy open world games that I've had a great time exploring, because there's just so much cool shit. Think about the now the name of the, is it caravans where they're going around areas?
Yeah.
And even in Fury Road they call them caravans, where everyone, all the trucks and all the vehicles are kind of going together, huge dust clouds behind them and all that stuff. Those are all over the place in this game, and you get to just rip them apart into pieces and fight all these vehicles, get in and out of your vehicle, blow things up. How is that not a thing that people were talking about for the last 9 years?
I have no idea. Like they took the Arkham combat system and just made it a Ubisoft game. Like that is like such a great combination.
It's so much. Yeah, it's so much fun. I mention it just because, like, in the context of how we were talking about playing these larger games, it's one of the very few open world games in the last several years that has really got me that hooked and stuff. And I think people should check it out. But again,
agreed.
I want to keep playing it. Other things are in the way. Other things, not in a negative way. There's other new games and they're great. Fine. It is what it is. Good problem to have, so to speak. But like, if I have a gap,
it's a bad problem, guys, because nothing gets done.
What's that?
It's a bad problem because, like, honestly, it's too much to play and not enough time to finish them. And
that's true.
I've taken it upon myself to actually try and finish games. Like I have to. I mean, obviously, because we're reviewing games and all that.
But it's hard to with these huge games. It's hard to
literally focus on one game until I'm done. I've kind of done away with playing 4 games at a time, which I used to do, which is probably the worst thing you could do.
Which is what I'm doing constantly.
If you can do it, you can do it. I mean, I can do it. It's just, it's not as enjoyable because, like, if I had done Alan Wake and,
right.
What else did I play the same? There was like Alan Wake and Super Mario RPG at the same time. That's a total shift for me. I couldn't have done that. But yeah, it's hard to do one now.
I can't do it for the most part. I mean, like, there are games like Foamstars, for instance, where that's a game that I can pick up, play a couple rounds, put down. But for like a main game for me, if it's going to be Persona, it has to be Persona. It's not, hey, I'm going to play Persona and then Pacific Drive, and then I'm going to go to Open Roads right after. And then while I'm still playing Persona, I'm going to play Final Fantasy. It's like, that's not a Steve thing. Can't do it. Never going to happen.
Yeah, it's really hard to juggle and stuff, which is a perfect transition, because that's how you do smooth transitions, as you call them out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's exactly how it's done, which is exactly the problem I've been running into the last couple of days with Steam Next Fest. And we were talking about it a little bit before we hit record. You could look across around every digital corner you want. You will find something in every Steam Next Fest, no matter what time of year it is. They run at least 2 to 3 of them a year, and it's just literally over 1,000 demos that you can play. Some of the games are out very soon, which is great. It's kind of like if you weren't aware of this game, it's almost like a shadow drop, where it's like, hey, here's this game in 3 weeks, or sometimes in 2 weeks, or in a month. Boom, you can play this. You like this demo? Great. Wishlist it, buy it for sometimes $20, $25, and then it's all yours, and you can have a great time with it in a few weeks. I've played a select few that I captured some footage for. I'm writing about for the site as well, that I'm going to say, like, oh, these are just a few that I really enjoyed, and ones that are kind of like all like different from each other in a way too, right? So it's not all the same stuff. And I want to start with at least one that I can't remember. Are you guys big Mega Man fans? I don't recall.
I am.
You are.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Berserk Boy is very reminiscent of those games. Does it play exactly the same? No, but it has a similar art style. The music feels kind of the same. The setting is sort of futuristic, and there's all these powers involved, and robotic enemies and stuff. So it has that vibe, but it's not like, someone running around with a weapon or an arm cannon or something. It's almost like Mega Man, but melee combat and dashes and things like that is kind of how you're dispatching enemies and stuff. So it's really fast. It's definitely faster than a Mega Man game is, especially the mainline ones. Because you're dashing everywhere, and you're jumping off walls, and you're falling down pits and things like that. Like, to sort of get through the level and traverse through the level. But it's really cool. It is a lot of fun. You're this kid that has this berserk ability, I guess, and you're collecting, I can't fully remember all the terminology for the game, but you're collecting these sort of orbs that will save it from being absorbed by someone else, the enemies, and blah blah blah. You have this little bird beside you that's sort of like your little tutorial buddy and helps you with your abilities and stuff like that. And you're basically going from left to right, going down, right to left, go down, left to right, like just sort of traversing through a level, unlocking gates and collecting, items that you can use to upgrade your abilities and stuff when you go back in between story missions and stuff like that. And essentially, like, if there's an enemy in front of you, for example, you dash towards them and you'll sort of like bounce into the air. And then if you have enough power built up through that, before you get to that sort of combat area, you press B. So you press X to dash, you press B in the air, and he sort of like electrocutes the enemy and blows them up. And then you go back up into the air again. It keeps you in the air and you can dash again. And you can sort of do all these combos of being able to hit enemies, bounce off enemies. You can basically not touch the ground for multiple, like, minutes at a time if there's enough enemies around. And it kind of encourages you to do that, because the way that the level design and the enemy placement is sometimes you see all these spikes on the ground, and the only way to do it is to basically juggle yourself in the air and bounce across a bunch of enemies. But it's all happening really, really fast. I know that's a thing in like Shovel Knight and some other sort of 2D platformers and stuff like that, but this feels really fast a lot of the time. So you really have to pay attention to which way you're dashing, who you're going to hit, the button combination of X and B and A to jump, and dashing left to right. You have to go down, you have to jump up, you have to bounce off the wall to reset your ability. Like, all these things are sort of coming into play. And within just 20 minutes, half an hour of gameplay, I really sort of felt like I was gelling with it, which was great. I thought maybe like I wouldn't quite get it in that time. And granted, I'm not using all the abilities that are going to be available in this game, but what they give you in the demo is pretty easy to get a hold of after a few minutes. And it's a ton of fun. I think it's 100% worth picking up and trying the demo for Berserk Boy for roughly half an hour is sort of how long, maybe 40 minutes, depending on that. And there's already 2 difficulty levels in it. You can do one where you have unlimited lives, and then they do like a retro version that says, I think you have a tiny bit less health, but you also have a number of lives as well. I died once playing it, and then that was it in that version. They want you to get through it, and that's fine. And it's fun. It's interesting. They're doing something a little bit different. Feels very Mega Man in all the right ways. And yeah, I recommend Berserk Boy. I think it was really cool. I had it on my wish list for like, I think a year. I could probably look it up, because I think on your wish list it tells you like how long, like when you put it on your wish list.
Right.
So, yeah, I gotta check, because this is one that I've had my eye on for like a long time, and it was good. I'm happy that I've had my eye on something that ended up turning into something I really enjoyed. I've had this on my wish list for 2 years, since January of 2022. That's how long I've had this on my wish list. So finally got a chance to play it, and it's really fun. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Another one that's really wild, like so trippy, so dark, but has an interesting mechanic in it, is called Children of the Sun. I know a story on Console Creatures went up about this just the other day, because it was just announced, but I was like, just that alone, I was like, ooh, I should try this. I recommend it, but it is also disturbing in a lot of ways. Like, it's straight, like the story of it, or what they sort of tell you in the demo. Again, about a half hour, maybe 40 minutes, you could play through the whole thing. It's so fucked up. It's like this guy's family, I think, was like killed by this cult, which maybe Children of the Sun might be the name of the cult. I don't know, offhand. And essentially what you're doing is you're going to like their camps where all these cult members are. You have one bullet in your gun, in like your sniper rifle. You can shoot it, and after it kills an enemy, you have the ability to change its direction completely in a 360 degree angle, and you can make that bullet go to the next enemy, and then you can stop and look for the next enemy and hit the next enemy, and then so you basically, it's like a puzzle game framed around you being a sniper, essentially. So you have to find a way to defeat all the enemies in each little sort of self-contained stage using one shot. And the reason why you only have one shot is because you have the ability to use one bullet and bounce between all these items. And you can't just hit anything. You can't just ricochet off a tree and then do a 90-degree. You have to hit either an enemy, so shoot them wherever you hit them, or you can hit things like the gas tank of a car that will explode and hit the enemies around it, and then you can angle that bullet to the next person that is on the other side of the stage, and then you can go from there, and you just sort of bounce around and stuff like that. And that's basically what the gameplay is. The style of it is so crazy. It's like this dark sketchbook type of style where it looks like someone's just trying to scratching across the page almost. Like you see in, I think it's like Stranger Things, for example. Like, what's the character's name that has all the visions and he's always drawing in his book? And is it Will? Is that who it is?
Oh yeah, the little Will. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the art style of this game, but with some
that's cool.
Some like purple and red and orange and sort of like hints of color in it and stuff. So it looks like really like it looks like the person you're playing as almost is having these like fucked up visions. And then the music is like in your face, creepy, scratchy tunes. Like it's just so cerebral, I think is one of the words I'm trying to think. Like it just feels fucked up. But the gameplay is pretty fun. And essentially it is just a puzzle game. Really, it is just a puzzle game because you have to find a way to get the quote unquote get the job done on each level with one shot. So you can just retry as many times as you want. There's a couple tutorials in the demo that are in there. I think there's about 5, maybe 6 stages. So you get a good taste of some of the different abilities you can get and types of stages. Definitely worth a try. But expect a really like intense sort of messed up experience in a way too. It's dark. It's very, very much the opposite of what Berserk Boy is.
Devolver game. It's a
Devolver game. Yes, it is.
Oh yeah. So when you're shooting these children of the sun, can you just go exclusively for dick shots?
You can hit like anywhere you want. Anywhere you want. Yeah.
Is that like a challenge?
I think.
But I'm just saying, like, does the game reward you or not for being like, hey,
I took
all these guys out and exclusively
just mangled their wangs,
tore wiener the entire time.
Just tore wiener.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
honestly.
Yeah,
crotch shots is the way to win.
Yeah, just crotch shots. It keeps a score, and even in the demo at the end of each level, it tells you where you've ranked among all the people that have. So it automatically like logs you into high scores and stuff, which is really cool. Just based on.
Does it, okay. So with this headshots, are they more points?
So from what I can tell, headshots are more points. It also depends on how long you're in the stage, like how quickly you kill everybody. It could matter where you hit them specifically. I was really just I kind of just went for the headshots because they look kind of fun because everything slows down in slow motion when you hit someone. So they kind of have like a little bit of a ragdoll physics kind of thing. And it's really just kind of like fun to watch. And then once you're done the stage, it gives you your score. And then the map zooms out and it has this yellow outline that looks like police tape almost. And it just shows all the things that the bullet did. And it gives you like, and you can save that as like a screenshot too. Automatically, like in the menu, it gives you that option. So it's got a lot of little things like that are really fun. So you could be like, hey, I beat your score. Here's how I did it. And I can send you a screenshot that the game just takes for you. So there's cool things in it like that. And
it just seems like a missed opportunity. If you're not rewarding people for the reason I keep bringing this up and harping on is because Sniper Elite, they nailed it. They nailed the concept of I'm this like sniper operative and I'm just going for dick shots, and they do the Mortal Kombat X-ray, slow-mo, like boom. And it's at that point, like you've mastered the combat loop or the gameplay loop at that point. Like, just saying, you're leaving money on the table. I'm saying if you're not rewarding players for right, like if it's just exclusively
just
go into the field, get dick shots.
Devolver used to do something with just dick shots. Just
This
You get it right down the pee hole. That's like 1,000,000 points.
like the perfect angle.
Yeah. Like ricocheted off a rock, straight up. Boom.
Down the urethra.
Yeah. Breaks open a kidney stone on the way.
Yep.
Do you get the zoomed in look too, like you did with the baby in
It's
Death
like a camera
Stranding?
that follows
Like
the
you get
bullet.
Oh my god.
the internal camera.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get one of the testicles just giving like a thumbs up.
Or just oh no.
Yeah. No, this needs to be a game.
Yeah.
This could be the game
much-
that does it. There's so much fucked up stuff that happens in the really small, like sort of cutscenes, I guess you could call them. They're really brief. They're like 10 seconds or something like that. That you could insert that into the you could you could do that as like an add-on to this game.
Where
or
are
a
you
mod.
inserting it?
Yeah, wherever you want to insert that bullet, it could be up to you. It seems like you can kill these enemies any way you want as long as the bullet hits them. So if bullets to the dick are your thing, creature.
Why aren't they your thing though? That's the thing. Like,
I just didn't try exclusively, at least.
well, I mean, in general, like people, why isn't that not your thing? Like that's what you should.
How is it not your thing?
Like I want a wanted level.
That's what I would do
You grab
immediately.
the bullet and then shoot them in the dick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
it's-
3 people, like boom, boom, boom. And they all go down.
Boom, boom, boom.
That's all I think we all want to enjoy.
I still have it
It's
installed. I
any-
can try and let you know what my high score is
Please, thank you.
using dick shots instead if you
Yeah.
want.
Well, what you could do is you can try, and then I can tell Devolver what you found out, and then we can just pitch the idea to them, and maybe we can make a video game out of it.
And we'll make all the Steam money in the world. Or
All I want is to be in the game as someone that gets shot in the dick.
you want to be the victim.
I
Okay.
like no, just if we're rewarding for this, if we're getting rewarded for this idea, for this novel concept, just put me in the game. I'm
yeah,
fine.
we'll all be
I'm
we'll all
fine
be in
with-
the game.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
It will just be Easter eggs, like, oh yeah, I got to level 8 and I got to shoot Steve right in the dick. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
he was
Trust me,
walking
Devolver,
down. He was
call
walking
me.
down York Street,
Yeah.
and someone shot him in the dick, and
Ah. Oh
he went to get his coffee in the morning from Starbucks. And
Is that your
someone
death
shot him.
sound? Because
Yeah. Ah.
You can put a little more into it. Come on.
I'm not in the VO. I'm not giving them the
No,
sound
we
bite.
can't give him the
Oh, I
sound
guess
bites for
it
free.
doesn't come for free. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. that's
Yeah,
fair.
exactly. Then the AI is going to take it and they're going to manipulate Chat GPT and shit. Like, you don't give your art away, not for free.
You've thought this through much more than I thought you might have. You've been thinking
Good
about
ideas come quickly.
yeah, good ideas don't just you can't just throw them out there. You can't just
Some songs are written in 10 minutes and they become bangers. So that's just something you gotta remember.
True.
Oh my god. I have played other games. I will continue to play other games with or without dick shots, but Steam Next Fest, I mean, if you have your PC and you want to try some new stuff or different stuff, it is like it's the thing to do. Like it's crazy how great it is, and just so much choice, quality all over the place, new ideas, different ideas. Great art styles is sort of like a given at this point when it comes to games like this. So if there's stuff that you are unsure about, just sift through the pages, sift through the recommendations, and just try something. It's gonna cost you like 600 megs on your hard drive. Give it a shot. Steam Next Fest is awesome, and it's going till next week. Next week I won't be here, but I'm gonna continue to play games. So I will. I'll make sure that you find my article about all of it at consolecreatures.com. Bobby, lots of reviews, lots of stuff coming out, and exciting stuff on Console Creatures. Where can everybody keep track of all that?
You can find us consolecreatures.com. Just plug us in any search engine, you'll find us. We're everywhere.
We is there.
We are there.
Big reviews, lots of previews coming up with Steam Next Fest and everything. So lots of stuff to check out on the website. Steve, where can everyone keep up with your friendly face online?
This one here,
That one.
you can find me everywhere across the internet at Asvikvari.
Amazing. I'm at Dave Petro, and if I should have said this off the top, but we did talk about a couple weeks ago how video versions of episodes are things that people wanted. We're slowly going to start making that a regular thing, and we will start fine-tuning sort of what the presentation of it is and all that. Last week's episode was on there, for example, so you could see all the state of play videos and trailers and stuff that we were referencing. This episode will be up there as well. I'll try to put up a couple of the gameplay shots of the Steam Next Fest games that I played. So there's stuff you can check out too on the YouTube channel, Console Creatures. But yeah, other than that, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. Steve, Bobby, thanks for being around once again for this week of recording. And we will talk to everybody next time. Have a great week gaming. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.